Welcome or welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Star. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I now know why the David Bowie video was so short, because I realize this is now in tandem with the energetic update video, which is this one for you all. I'm going to put them both out at the same time so that you can receive them in tandem, because there were some expressions that I really wanted to share with you all, because I think it might be helpful for some out there in the collective. And David mentioned that, there have been a lot of tears from me over the past couple of weeks, and this is because I've been having to make some real tough decisions about my life and about that which I want to be experiencing, and this being a space where I felt like there was just no more room to and I guess no more time, although time doesn't exist. I felt like it was coming to a crunch point in my life to decide how I wanted my life to be unfolding in the spaces that I did have control over, but also surrendering to the spaces that I knew just had to be part of the mystery. And I feel like I've been absolutely floundering in the space of the Light Renegades. So those that have been here for the longest time, you've seen me time and time again, falter, fall back, have to pause, come back, because I've been growing at exponential rates on this path. And I'm grateful for you all witnessing, but I've come into a state now that is a plateau of my energy that I just haven't experienced before. I'm standing even stronger in my convictions of whom I know myself to be here as a Light Renegade, as part of the ecosystem of those expanding right now. And it's really floored me. It's really floored me to see how an experience and be able to understand and acknowledge just how much I've grown in this space. And the same goes for all of you too. And I realized that I was very much running on an old script, and I was having to put a pause. I was really having to purge from that state of the life that I was once living to the spaces that I am in right now. And there was a real big energy of, real strong energy of grief that I was feeling, because it felt sad to be letting go of more aspects of me that I once knew, that I guess so many out there had also being connected to. And I realized that it's been really difficult for some in my space to continually watch me expand and become something new. There's been many relationships that have broken down in this space, and many relationships that I had to put an end to, because I knew that in the trajectory of where I was going, I couldn't come from a space of where I was in that moment. I had to see into the future and where I was going to be expanding into. And I think this has been missed by some, and it's been painful. It's been difficult for me to keep strong in my convictions and say, I have to put an end to certain situations, certain scenarios, and certain ways of being, because there was no room for me to just have questions anymore. I had to just step forward with what I knew to be my truth, and to just stand stronger in that conviction. And that's meant that so many fractals of my life have fallen away. And there was a good portion of this whole entire ascension process before I was put in touch with Anne Maria, a fellow Light Renegade in Kabbalah, before I knew any of this was existing, before Shauna L. France was brought to my attention. I was just on my own, floundering in this space, thinking, I have no idea what is going on, but something is speaking to me. The whole world, all the realms are speaking to me, and I didn't know which way to turn. And this is why the Light Renegades was created, because we wanted to be a platform for those to step forward and be able to receive guidance. I wanted to be the person that I didn't have for myself, but I was also seeing that that was coming from a wounded space. I was very much stepping into this arena of you all witnessing me here, giving so much of myself, and I now realize that there is only so much that I have to give, and I also have to pour into me too, which has meant that I've had to say no to a lot of aspects of the dark that I didn't think I was going to say no to, because I'm realizing that my vibration is just consistently raising, and for me to stay in those states of consciousness, it wasn't going to be conducive for my own personal growth. So there has been some massive changes that I've had to make in my own personal expression. This is something that I'm still going through. This is why I said please bear with me, because there's a lot of energy coursing through me at this time. There's been a lot of alchemical processing that has happened at a very physical level. So there has been a lot going on with my physical body, and I can feel the changes, and at certain points in your journey you can really start to feel when everything is kind of sinking and melting into itself to be anew. And it's a very uncomfortable stage. As I've mentioned this before, there's been times when I genuinely felt like I was going to die. Every part of my being, mental, psyche, felt like I might not wake up in the morning, or felt like, okay, if I don't lay down right now, I might cease to exist. And this continues to be the case. You hit those moments of feeling like there was a death of self. And it brought forward this expression that I saw a crow yesterday, and it was laying there dead in a space that I didn't even know how it could have happened or got to be there. And it really upset me. And then a crow flew overhead, and then I walked a little bit further, and there was some crows in a tree. And this strong impression of, a space within self was dying so that I could then receive more. And I felt like these crows were coming back and forth, and I had a crow fly past my window twice a day when I was filming for you all. And this expression of we're ready to receive more, we're ready to receive direct contact from that which has been out of realms to us up until this point. And this is definitely something that I've mentioned before on this channel, and we've all been gearing up for more contact in the ways that we have been asking for. And I know for the longest time so many of you have been seeking that expression, and I promise you it's going to shift. There are going to be things that happen within our realms, within our world, that is going to make all of the outer realms that we know to be true way more tangible to so many out there. And I think this is something that we've all been having to gear up for. So please keep your eyes open. The fragments of my reality have been absolutely shifting beyond any realm of expression, and I've just really had to pause and really take note of how I felt in any given situation. And please know that it's important to be noting how you are feeling, and I've really been having to work at being really, really present within myself and being really mindful about what I'm consuming, what I'm partaking in terms of food intake, in terms of liquid intake, in terms of how I'm engaging with other people. It's been a real purifying of my own vessel and my own mind and my own consciousness, and letting go of some aspects of self that I would consider to be shadow too, and allowing for myself to see where I've been perpetuating cycles that haven't been helpful for me but also other people, and I've really taken ownership of those expressions too. So if you find yourself really assessing everything that you are experiencing right now, please know that you are in direct alignment. We had the Pisces new moon, which is very much in correlation with that. We had the planetary alignments, which I think has brought us all into an expression of seeing what is not congruent and in line with our actual soul's expression. And I feel like that is something that is felt at an energetic level. And I see people, even though that they might not be as deep into these spaces that I am, everyone is kind of questioning their stability at this time and considering what they enjoy, what they consider to be enjoyment. And this is definitely something that has been stepping forward, is this idea of not being too self-sacrificing right now. It's important to state that which brings you joy and that which brings you happiness, and know that you deserve to feel that. I've been sat in a very self-sacrificing space for a real long time. I think some of that does come from my Catholic schooling, I must admit, and part of this path and this process, I'm feeling like I'm here for such I guess expansive notions somewhere, but at the same time I couldn't let myself drown in that expression. I couldn't decide to take on this weight, because it's just far too much. And there is enough of us out here all doing this work that we should be receiving love and happiness in our spaces and joy in our spaces too. So I've been really having to start to have even stronger boundaries with myself and with others, and saying, this doesn't bring me joy anymore. I have to step into a paradigm of things that I am enjoying, because I know that it's from me enjoying my life. It's from me coming from a state of pure happiness and pure ecstasy and joy, is where I can then help others too. So if your cup is empty, please pause here, specifically those that are holding space for others, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And this is definitely something that is reiterated to me time and time again. And please know, if you pause, you will be supported. And it's that fear of, what if I do this, then what happens? Please try not to sink into fear. Please feel the fear, but just do the things anyway. Trust your intuition. And I've been really having to hone in what my intuition is trying to tell me, where I'm coming from a space of not the mind, but my third eye. What is my gut telling me? What is my heart telling me? What are those spaces again? I've been going back to the beginning and really taking this in baby steps, because I've been growing and ascending on this path for such a long time now. I kind of forgot that to even go back to the basics, and it's really helped me to understand just how far I've come on this path, but just how much I've grown too. So give yourself the grace of that too. There's that crow again. Give yourself the grace of that too, of understanding that you have changed a lot, and it's important that you acknowledge that and you really celebrate yourself in that, and know that if there are things that you want to be changing right now, you're well within your rights to ask for that. But it's going to be a process of you having to change as well from the inside out. And I'm starting to really see where my inside was purely just being reflected on my outside, and that is part of the process. I was in some real dense expressions at certain points of my life, and that was just the truth then, and that's not the truth now. I get to step forward in a paradigm that is much more lighter to me. And I was visited by some negative reptilians the other night, specifically on a day when I shared a lot of information that was perhaps going to be very helpful for the collective. And I thought, it's interesting that you're stepping forward. I had technical difficulties all day, and also they stepped forward and they weren't happy at all. And it's because I know that they do not have any control over me anymore, and they've been trying to control people around me for the longest time, trying to get to me. And now I see it. I see through the tactics. I can see where people are being being, just pawns for them. And this has been left in my life path so that I could experience it, so that I could help heal it for the collective, and also tell all of you, if people around you are acting in absolutely absurd ways, please have compassion for them, because it's truly not them. It's other energies working inside of them to try and halt you off your path. And I promise you, if you're stepping forward onto a path that is in complete alignment for your soul, it is not going to feel easy. This world is not here to support us right now in our spaces. So we have to trust that wherever we are experiencing what our teams of light let us experience in terms of difficulty, so that we can stand stronger in our convictions. And 22, 23, 24 was just incredibly difficult times for me in my self-expression. 2022 was one of the worst years of my life, and that was when I was perhaps the most enlightened that I've been on my life path thus far, and I just didn't see it coming. But now I understand it. It's when we reach these higher states of consciousness, that's when we awaken to other expressions, and other expressions awaken to us also, and they want to keep us trapped, specifically those that are awake now, because we are the most understanding and the most beings that can hold the most power in helping us ascend further right now. So if you are an expression of I'm awakened at this time, but why does it feel so difficult, it's because you are such a target right now, because you know exactly what is happening. You are so incredibly powerful. So please step forward in community, ask for help, and please know that whatever you are doing, you are helping humanity at this time. There is no small of an expression out here right now. If you are enjoying what you are doing, you are helping humanity, and you don't have to be in a public platform to do that. Those are there, within their specific spheres of their family and their friends. That's the best thing that we can do right now. And it's difficult trying to manage all of those things. I hear you, I see you. And I'm starting to realize that the best thing that you can do is just keep searching for happiness, and just getting through the days where you can in as much light as possible, and just keep saying no to anything that doesn't feel good. And when I feel an energy come around me right now that doesn't feel in alignment to what I want to be experienced, and I say that I just do not consent. Something from a viewer of ours that shares a lot. I do not consent. I do not allow for this energy to be here. And I know your tactics. I just say it out loud. I know your tactics, and it's not going to work on me. And it takes a little while for the energies to subside. Some days it does feel all encompassing. I know that I'm working through a lot of energy for the collective too in those spaces. So please have that in mind. If you are struggling, you are helping yourself relieve yourself of that strain and that stress of this negative reptilian order, of the energies out there that do not want us to be succeeding, not just for yourself, but perhaps for those around you. In your smaller spheres, I was realizing I was taking on a lot of energy of those around me too, and that's been part of my path. And I've had to factor in that expression, and also say, hey, I think that I might not want to be doing that anymore, and I'm well within my rights to say that too. So please know, whatever you are experiencing, you get to say no, you get to say yes. And obviously there is karmic balancing within all of that. This entirety of this ascension process has very much been a karmic debt to myself somewhere. I've expressed before, I was in very deep and dark spaces of many old fractals at this moment in time. So know that wherever you are, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, but you are well within your right to say, I decide to choose happiness, I decide to choose joy, I decide to choose the light, while still delving into darker practices, while still having to delve into your shadow. I've been dealt with another layer of shadow this week that I just didn't see coming. I thought, okay, I'm back to the drawing board again, and this is what this path takes. So please pause when you need to. Self-care across the board at all times. It's so important. Don't just keep going because you feel like you have to. Don't just keep going because you feel like you are here to support so many others. The best thing that you can do right now is support yourself and give from that overflow. There's that crow again. And give from that overflow. It's about the overflow, and this was something that I was missing time and time again on this path. I was self-sacrificing for so many others out there, and I'm grateful to be in the capacities to be able to help humanity ascend. But I'm giving to myself right now. I'm giving to the things that I know are going to bring me joy. Alongside all of this, there are some deep and dark expressions that I'm still in, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to do all the work, but this has to be about you. It's about being what some might consider to be selfish right now. I was definitely a being that saw people stepping forward to them as selfish somewhere, because I didn't know that paradigm. I was taught to be so overly giving. I was an overachiever, overgiver on so many aspects of my life, and I'm just not in that expression anymore. And this has definitely rubbed some up the wrong way, those that were receiving a lot from me in certain spaces. And I don't have any apologies in that. I had to do what is best for me, and I'm grateful that I do have souls around me that do support me, know how to support me in balanced ways, and that's what I'm going to keep stepping forward towards, is those spaces that continue to give to me as much as I give to them. And some aspects we do have to give a little bit more to others at certain spaces. That's called cooperation in energy. But there are some spaces that just were not giving, and I've just had to say no. I've had to walk away. I've had to say no time and time again to so many things, and it's been painful. There's been a lot of tears about so many things in my life that I've just had to surrender to the process. And I'm grateful now to be in the position that I am, but I'm still growing, I'm still expanding. There's still so much in my life that I want to be making into my reality, and it's been a very slow process. At least that's how it's felt for me, and I've just had to trust that that's been the way. So I'm grateful for you all stepping forward. I hope that this has brought some insight and perhaps some comfort to where you find yourself in your expression. We're all just learning, we are all just trying in our own ways, and we're doing this together. So please do not feel like you're alone. Please do reach out if you would like support in any way. I myself and Anna Maria is totally here to support you, but please know that our love goes out to you. My overflow of my energy is always pouring out to you. And I appreciate you, and I see you where you are in your space. If you are here and you are witnessing, I know that you are doing the absolute most. So please give to you, take that time to pause and self-care, and please, please, please celebrate you. Say yes to the things that make you feel good. Good of all, harm to none, but go and have some fun. Please, 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 I urge you. And yeah, I think that's enough of my rant today, energetic update, but I'm so grateful for you being here. I hope that this has helped, and please know that I'm sending you the biggest energetic hug that I possibly can right now, and know that we love you and we see you, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for anyone stepping forward on this path right now. It's just so important to just be authentic and just be yourself, and if this is upsetting some people, that's okay. That's there to trigger them to be the best version of themselves too. So have no shame. Keep doing you. Don't let others make you feel like you need to shrink your light for them, because you don't. That's also a massive trick on this path too. They will also get others to step forward to make you feel like you aren't worthy to receive. You are. I'm here to tell you that you are, and you deserve to shine, whatever that might look like to you. But that's all for myself today. Take care.